G'day guys, I hope you're well. Just before we get into this episode, I wanted to let you know why it's been so delayed. So basically it was filmed in B-RAW footage, which is just a really high resolution file that we couldn't comprehend. Now this episode was filmed in London with Proddy C, who's the producer, and he does many roles within the Fellas Studios now. He's a great bloke. We've known him for a couple of years now, and we wanted to have a chat with him while we're over there. So we hope you enjoy this episode, and obviously it was filmed probably 6 months ago, so it's a little bit outdated, but the conversation is great nonetheless, and we really wanted to share it with you. So we hope you enjoy this one. Next week we'll be back with regular uploads, but show Proddy C some love, show us some love, and we'll see you next week for another episode. But enjoy this one today. Much love. Have a good one. See ya. G'day guys, and welcome back to the Jamo and Dylan show. Today we're having a very, very special guest on. He's close to our hearts because one of the best moments in our life happened.
Great night with Proddy C.
And you were there.
Amazing.
Boys, too kind. What a lovely intro.
Welcome to the show, mate.
It was a great night, wasn't it?
It was.
That was, we still talk about, that trip for us was amazing in general.
it was.
So many good things happened, and that night was really good.
Well, I remember when you did the pod announcing it to your listeners, I was listening to it on the plane to Melbourne. So we flew from Sydney to Melbourne. And I was like, doing my prep for the show, like for the pod. I was listening to that and I was like, this is so fucking wholesome. Because like these boys, like we've seen you on TikTok. We were like, let's link up with some creators and we're there. Cal had found you on TikTok, sent it over, like, let's book it in. Booked you in. And then it's just like you lot actually just would never have expected doing that. Not
no way.
Up our asses or anything, but it's like when you work with people that you've listened to or something. I was the same when I got this job. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you meet these people that you've been watching, like, it's sick.
That's exactly what it was. I remember I was playing FIFA at the time. It would have been like 7 or 8 p.m. in Perth.
It was about 2 years ago, like now, pretty much, when we... because I was coming back from Europe 2 years ago, and I was in
Thailand or
Bangkok on a like stopover, but I stayed there for a couple nights just to break up the trip. And Jamo calls me. I want to say 2 years ago. It would be close to the date for sure.
Yeah.
And
so
I was like, what?
I called Dylan and was like, mate, we've just got a call from the Fellas. This is incredible, right?
It was ridiculous.
And it was like what you were saying. It was a little bit of imposter syndrome because we had been watching Cal and Chip for so long. And then to get the call up, it was like, you know, we've prepared for this. Like, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit like sport, didn't it?
Because the big call up.
You come and prepare every week, and you know, you put your best foot forward, and then if you keep going and going, you get to put yourself in those positions and you get that call up. So
I think that for me was like one of the first experiences I had where I was like, it gave me a bit of a wake up call as to like, because you get desensitized very quickly to like what you're doing and working on a show like the Fellas. I came in, obviously Cal and Chip were so welcoming and they very much made me feel like, you know, part of it very quickly. And you forget that these, like, you know, podcasts or whatever are some people's, you know, every week they'll listen to it without fail. And it was that moment I remember being like, this is actually sick. Like, the show I'm working on has impact on people's lives. Do you know what I mean?
How true. Yeah, you don't realize because it's your normality to do it every single week, and it's like
see these boys like
you get a
every
routine.
day.
Yeah.
And it was the first time we've ever travelled to do something. So
it was.
I guess before then we took what we do seriously, but not to the point where we thought it could take us to that level. So like, by all means, we're not the biggest podcast in the world. Like, we're so far off it. However, what we do, as you said, it impacts people in a positive way.
For sure, man.
And that's why we've kept doing it.
It's good to get the wins along the way.
It's been over 5 years now. Like,
that's mental.
We just keep
You've been
coming.
doing this 2 years longer, almost 2 years longer than I've been at the Fellas.
Yeah.
Because I've been there almost 3 years now.
Also, you'd been there, what, about a year before Australia
Yeah,
trip?
it was almost a year. My year would have been... So we came in September.
Yep.
I was November, I joined, 21. And then we came September 22.
Because I remember speaking to you the first time we met in that Airbnb in Melbourne, and you were saying how much of a whirlwind, like 6 to 12 months it was.
Yeah, it was crazy, bro. Like, especially as like in that time I came in as like producer, was never expecting to like be on camera or mic or whatever, never. And then Cal goes on the Have a Word pod, the Scouse lads.
Yep.
Goes on that podcast, comes back, and he's like, I really like the dynamic of having the producer like chirping. And I was like, that's sick or whatever. And he said, would you like to do it? And I was like, I'm not going to say no to this opportunity. That's class. So
my favourite thing is when I listen to Pitchside. Like, we both love our Premier League, right?
Yeah.
And when you get a gig, you know,
when Lewis on holiday,
it's so good. Yeah. And then I love it when Lewis is there too, because he winds everyone up. And the way I was saying it to Dill earlier was that everyone has a Lewis in their group.
Oh,
Yeah, 100%.
And ours is this guy called Brandon Lear. His nickname's Rambo, right? And Rambo gets the most piss taken out of him in our friendship group.
Yeah.
But he still gives it out as well.
He invites it as well. I
he
think.
does.
He looks for it.
And I think Lewis might do that as well. He'll
100%.
fish for things.
Well, the thing is with Lewis, you actually never know whether he's being serious or not, because like in the office, okay, he'll say something really outlandish.
Yeah.
But I look around, I scan around the room, and I look. Is someone like filming right now? Like is someone doing the vlog? Because I'm like, you're just saying this for a reaction, but he actually like gets such a kick out of it. So like we did the fancy draft. And he did not need to do this. He chose Jacob Murphy as his first round pick. It's like there was absolutely zero reason to do that, apart from the fact you got the reactions that you wanted.
It was so funny.
Everyone does have one in their group. You're right.
You need one.
100%,
I think they're important for group dynamic.
We've got a lad called Nick in ours who's very much like that. We've got actually kind of mixed between two. So Nick's sort of like, when you're out on a night out, he has to be centre of attention. Okay. And we always make a joke out of it, saying, all right, if you've not got centre of attention for long enough or whatever. But then we've also got another guy who's very much, he classes himself as a WhatsApp persona. Now, I don't know if you got any of like this in your group. It's someone who, when you're in person, will not really like give it too much. But they kind of sit in the wings. But as soon as they're on the WhatsApp group chat, they are giving everyone shit.
Ours is pretty consistent on Messenger and on.
Yeah, what you see is what you get.
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon I can be a bit more chirpy in the group chat though. Like I think everyone is a little bit more amplified when it comes to the group chat because you're a bit more safe.
Yeah.
Keyboard warriors, isn't it?
Yeah. Unless the footy's on.
Yeah.
If two of the boys' teams are playing like at home at a prees or something.
Yeah.
We had one we weren't there I wasn't there.
Yeah.
I was over here, but in the footy, one of Rambo's team beat our mate Jared's team with a goal after the siren in AFL, which is really rare.
Yeah.
And he was going nuts.
That's the one thing I love about AFL, like our national sport, is that the final siren goes, but if you've taken a mark, so if you've caught the ball, you still get to have your shot at goal, even if the time's gone.
So it's essentially a very, very rare occasion that shot goes in, but I assume everyone shoots when the siren goes.
Correct. Yeah. And sometimes, for example, most AFL players could kick about 50 metres on average, 50 to 55 metres. This guy was only shooting from about 35 or maybe 40 directly in front.
It's just unreal.
And it was this guy who was in his first or second year, so all the pressure's on his shoulders, packed stadium, and then he sent it through. Stadium went crazy, and that's the one unique thing about our sport that I think
you can still win it after the
is
end
special.
Of the game, yeah.
Have you watched much AFL at all?
I'm gutted that we didn't go to an AFL game once, right?
Next time.
It was the grand final.
Yeah.
It was the grand final or something, and Cal got a plug for some tickets.
Who would that have been? 2022.
2022.
Geelong won that.
Geelong. They're the light blue.
Yeah, with the hoop, the stripes.
Yeah, because I remember someone gave Cal a Geelong scarf at our Melbourne show.
Yeah.
And they ended up winning, and he was just like chirping about that in the group chat. But yeah, no, the AFL, it looks so fun. I'm gutted I didn't go.
It is a great watch, honestly.
The closest sport would probably be Gaelic football in Ireland.
100%.
Yeah.
But the pitches are massive.
Yeah.
I couldn't get over that. It's almost like a cricket pitch, but bigger because it's circular.
On the same pitch.
Yeah, the MCG obviously, Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Of course.
They play there too. That's where they play the grand final. So, no, it's a very special sport, and it's really close to our hearts because we grew up playing it. It's like football for a lot of English kids. But it's good because we've had the best of both worlds. We grew up playing both,
and we got to experience our first Prem game, which was some good atmosphere.
Yeah,
that was sick.
So how did you guys find that?
It was actually good. Obviously, is Ipswich more of like your smaller local town, right?
Yeah,
it felt like all that city has is the team.
Yeah, so I don't know much about like East Anglia football, but Sam from behind the cam, he's from that way.
Yeah.
But I think Ipswich, they've always kind of, up until the last few years, have struggled in like League One.
Yeah.
And then I think they got to the Championship, and they've been there for a bit.
Because they're in the Prem long time ago,
and then
right?
Ed Sheeran sponsored them.
Yeah, he's...
I don't know if he's like an owner or anything, but he sponsors.
I saw recently.
Recently,
he bought a stake in the club. Yeah,
but he's always been an Ipswich fan.
Yeah,
so
it was a cool little town, like all these little pubs, and
it was a really wholesome. It was a wholesome experience.
Yeah.
Like we arrived in the town. We caught the Greater Anglia, I believe it's called. Got into Ipswich, and then obviously because it's the first day in the Prem for a long time,
must have been buzzy.
Yeah, it was incredible.
The energy
was
good.
That's one thing that football has over AFL is
we didn't have relegation or anything.
Yeah, it's just the
I guess the anticipation, the chance, like a lot of these things are amplified here compared to back home.
Yeah,
so
that manager as well, who Ipswich have, he's really good.
Yeah, Kieran McKenna.
Yeah, I think he'll actually he'll do quite well with them this season because they've got quite a depleted squad. But
do you catch many? You're a Chelsea man, right?
Yeah,
do you catch many
you know
games?
what? I used to go to a lot more games than I do now. So I had a period where I was going every week, more or less. I had my mate's dad's season ticket because his dad just wasn't asked about football. We actually almost exchanged it into my name, which for those who are on a season ticket waiting list, know there's an absolute gold time. Yeah. So what I'd have to do to get a Chelsea season ticket. Now, this is when I looked maybe like a couple seasons ago. I would have to, for an entire season, from the moment the home pre-season games start, I would have to have a membership, build up my points, go to absolutely every single game. I'd even need to go to the away games in the League Cup. So say we get Stockport on a Tuesday night, I would have to go to that game to obviously pay for my ticket, build up the points, to be in with the chance at the end of the season of getting a ballot spot to get a season ticket. So that's obviously, Chelsea is quite a small stadium. So for like a big club, it's quite hard.
Competitive, yeah.
Even now, like somewhere like Arsenal is really hard to get a season ticket for because football is so popular in North London. Everyone you get to speak to in North London is an Arsenal fan, so it's very kind of like sought after. But yeah, with Chelsea, I'd have to do that for a whole season, and I think it was the year that I was going to do it. It was my first year at this job, and I was just like, I can't do that, man. Like, if I can get a game ticket to a game, I will. But yeah, me and the lad I went to the season ticket with, we don't really chat anymore.
Yeah.
So,
okay, one of them.
So lost a friend and a Chelsea ticket. I didn't do anything wrong. Can I just say it wasn't actually involving me? It's just a cross paths in
one of those things.
It's one of them, Fred. You know, it goes. But
it's a shame when those things happen because you would have had so many good memories with that person too.
Yeah. Well, we saw Chelsea win the Champions League together.
And
we didn't go to Porto because it was during COVID. I actually had the ticket to go in my basket for one of them ones where you can go the same day and come back the same day.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So you fly out in the morning, and it's a really early flight. You obviously go to the game. Your match ticket is in that package, and then you get the last plane home. So in this instance, I think it would have been all right because it was COVID times. My mates who were over there said there was no celebrating afterwards in Porto, and those who know Porto is a sick city, especially for a night out. So to hear that is like if you went. Chelsea win, you get the best of both worlds because you were there, but then also you could have got the last plane home without the fear of missing out on anything because nothing was open.
Yeah.
It was I think it was £800 or something.
Right.
For the flights and ticket. And it was, I didn't
Considering
have that money at the time.
Yeah.
It's funny, one of our really good friends, Josh Rognetta, he kind of gets the piss taken out of in our friend group. We have our boys chat, and then he's just our really good friend from school that we've known for a long time.
Three, I guess.
And
one of those.
He's a really good person, but a shit friend. He just won't make much time for you. He studies physiotherapy at uni, and he's just when he's in uni mode, you can't snap him out of it.
Yeah.
So we have to wait till uni break to spend time with him and stuff like that.
I actually think it's a really positive thing though, being able to address that sometimes you're a shit friend. I would like to think I'm a really good friend. If my mate calls me at 3 a.m, I'm there. I'm one of those. I feel like I'm one of them people without blowing smoke up my ass. But recently, because work being busy, just life being busy and stuff, I just completely ignored 2 of his voice notes that he'd sent me, and it wasn't anything. He wasn't sending me anything serious or deep. But I ignored them, and I genuinely never replied for a week and a half because I'd gone away or something. And then he followed up saying, "Hey mate, I feel like we sort of need to reconnect," sort of thing. And I was like, that wording is. I read back the conversation and saw me airing the messages. I said that is so fucking poor from me.
Yeah.
And I went and had I had a meeting. I went and had a coffee with him, not to chat about that because we needed to catch up anyway.
Yeah.
And I was just like to him, bro, before you say anything, I want to address that I've been a shit friend and I'm sorry about that, and I don't want to be known as a shit friend.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to just let things slip.
With friendships, it is. You need to put in effort for sure.
Yeah.
And I think our friendship group was a little bit wayward for a couple of years. I felt like it's very easy to say no to a night out or going to dinner, but then I reckon in the last sort of year and a half, everyone's been switched on, and I think it's good to hold each other accountable because you need to put effort into your friendships
100%.
for them to be good. And if you're a good friend, you'll get that back from your mates.
It's important for mates to talk about that as well. I think boys don't talk about that sort of stuff enough.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky that it was one of my best mates, Ben, and he and we're very open with each other. So like, if he's struggling, he'll tell me. If I'm struggling, I'll tell him. And I think if you've got that with your like best mate, it's always going to be valuable later down the line to have those tough conversations.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
It's important.
How true is that?
Back to Josh Rognetta. So
That's a great name, by the way.
oh, you know, it's great, and it's great to make fun of him too. That's something we've done on our show for the last maybe 6 months. Is we've made fun of him purely out of spite. Like the fact that he can't make time for us, we'll just call him Flognetta. We'll call him Weasel. Yeah, Weasel's the best one because we make this voice up like, hi, my name's Josh, like a weaselly voice.
But he's actually just a nice guy.
Has he ever been on the pod?
No, we beg him to come on and he won't. He just won't.
Why?
I don't know.
Do you think he's going to get outed by the fans because you guys are taking the piss out of him?
Maybe. I also think that he's just not that type of person to be in front of camera, and he's a little bit like scared of what may happen. But
he just wants to be a physio. Like that's his goal.
Yeah.
He's going for it. Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, so he's actually not really a football fan, right? He loves his AFL, and he's actually a Geelong Cat supporter. So
very successful team.
Yeah, he had
is
a great
like the
night.
Man City of AFL?
Nah, because Geelong have been around for like a very long time, and then
Geelong have been a top team for the last 20 years.
So United.
yeah, but much better in recent history.
Yeah. More consistently good.
Yes,
Yeah.
I heard they lost a lot of finals though.
They did come short. Like they would make top 4 basically every year. They won I think in 2007 to 12 they won about 3 grand finals, right? And then in 2012 to 2022 they must have played in 6 prelims, which is the game before the grand final to get in. They lost, but then 2022 they finally broke through and won.
So basically,
very consistent club.
He has seen a lot of success in his life, and we're jealous. Like the team that I support, Fremantle Dockers, have never won a premiership. We've been around for 30 years, right? Dylan supports the Adelaide Crows. You haven't seen one.
I haven't seen them win it because the last one was 98. I'm born 99.
Okay.
So we've been starved of success, and the little weasel has received a lot of success, right? Now, we wanted to inject him into the Premier League world. He doesn't support a team. So we were thinking, what's the best way of doing this?
Yep.
So what I like to do, especially in our friendship group, is bring out the spinny wheel. It's like wheel of names on the internet, right? I put every Premier League team down, and we're going to do process of elimination.
And we excluded. He wanted the top 4 from last season excluded.
Purely,
he didn't want to like jump on a bandwagon.
I see where this is going.
Yeah, right. So I was kind of hoping he got a kind of shit team, like an unknown-ish type of team, like a Southampton, so I could, you know,
Bond with him?
I could kind of bond with the fact that, you know, we're not glory hunters, we're not winning, so like it's kind of like a edgy thing to do.
Yeah.
And then we got through, you know, all the way down to the bottom, and then he actually ended up with Chelsea.
He's a Chelsea man.
He's a Chelsea man. He's a
Poor
blue
bloke.
He's a blue. But
poor bloke.
I think it could have been worse though.
Oh yeah.
There was a few teams down the bottom that were there towards the end. There was an Everton, and Everton was close.
That wouldn't have been good.
I've always had a soft spot for Everton.
Yeah.
I think, people aren't gonna like this because I don't like Liverpool as a club.
Right.
Fair.
Yeah, I think because Liverpool don't like Everton, I automatically liked Everton.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
But
I think it's just hate watching, isn't it?
I would have actually liked him to support Everton. Like, as I'm a Southampton supporter, obviously, we're relegation rivals.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to struggle to stay up this year. I know that. And I was hoping that, you know, if he supported Everton, we could just go back and forth with abuse throughout the season, and hopefully I can come out on top. But he's got Chelsea, obviously.
There's a chance you finish above him, though, mate.
Yeah, potentially.
Maybe.
But
No.
now he's got Chelsea.
Usually come good. Like, it's interesting that you've
honestly,
got as
mate,
bad
I
as you
do
got.
not know about this year because, like, last season, we looked like a lost dog, lost puppy. And then we came right because of consistency and Poch just sticking to it and everyone gelling with Poch. And then Poch leaves, now we're at ground zero and we've signed about 50 more players. So it's like, I don't know where we're at. I think we're worst off right now currently.
How do you think you went yesterday?
I think we played okay. We didn't have, again, story of our life, we don't have anything in front of goal. Like, it's almost like someone has just fucking cursed our club with this mineral lacking ability of shooting in front of goal. Because on his day, Nicholas Jackson can actually be a brilliant finisher, but he was just so shit yesterday. He had a big opportunity, fluffed it. Then obviously there was the offside, and then Nkunku was offside as well. Like, yeah, who knows? It'll take a while.
Where do you reckon you'll finish?
True. What, head or heart?
both.
Yeah, we'll
Give
go.
us a bit
We'll
of
go
both.
both.
I'm saying my heart wants to say we'll finish top 5. My head 8th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's better than
Which is
Southampton.
fucking abysmal, by the way, for the amount we spent.
True.
But look, when you sign that many players, it will take ages to click. But I think our owners is just so stupid to think that we need instant success. I don't know. Look what Arsenal have done. They've played the long
Yeah.
game and it's worked.
They have. I actually saw a funny photo on Twitter yesterday, and it was a pub board out the front of a pub.
I saw
Yeah,
this.
it was 115 charges versus 115 players.
That whole narrative is a bit forced, though, the players thing, because there's so many of them. Like Sky Sports did this thing where they showed did our depth. It's like half the players will never touch the grass at
Yeah.
Stamford Bridge.
Yeah.
So why even referencing them? Like, if you did that with Man City, it would be the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But-
Very true.
Yeah.
A bit of money farming. Like a lot of those young players are just going to be sent
Yeah.
away on loan. They'll get better, and then you'll make money off
Yeah,
them.
like Amari Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's the way that football is now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you make money
Yeah.
if it's not being pumped into the club.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. Do you
Yeah.
think City are going to get charged? Like, what's the
I don't
consensus
know.
over here? We
I don't
obviously
know.
just get
I
it
mean,
through social media.
I'd never
back home.
really like chat about it, to be fair, because it's like I feel like it's just a bit of a waste of energy. I
Dragging
think people
on.
that get riled up by City doing all this and that. I just think like there's a reason they're doing so well.
Yeah.
And it's not the 115 charges. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they are just a very good team. They've got the best coach in the world. Yes, I think if they do get charged with it, I think it will be it won't be a points deduction. It will be a massive, massive fine.
Yeah.
I think. And then maybe some strip titles would be crazy.
That
It would
be
be.
crazy.
You'd have Solskjaer with a Premier League title.
I know. I'm seeing like, even though the Man United fan in me, we love that, but we actually had that in the AFL about 10 years ago.
Really?
So the top individual awards called the Brownlow Medal. So the best player of
It's
the
like the
season.
Ballon,
Yeah,
PFA.
Yeah,
Pretty
yeah,
much,
yeah. And it's the night of nights in Australian sport, really. And an Essendon player, Joe Watson, he won the Brownlow. A few years after that, it came out the club Essendon, who he played for at the time, had this drug scandal, right? And a massive, massive amount of their team got banned for 12 months. The club doctors were, I guess, not particularly honest about what they were giving the players.
Yeah, so the players the majority of them were unaware.
Of
No.
what was, yeah,
And
it was a really big deal.
These performance enhancing drugs, I can't remember off the top of my head what name they were, but apparently they could make you just stronger and faster and
Yeah.
all these things.
So
and
they took his Brownlow got taken off him.
But it wasn't even his decision
And
to
then
No.
take his drugs.
Yeah, and
But-
then
but
they just
he
gave
was-
it to second place.
Yeah.
which was a tie. But see, I think that it should just be cancelled.
Yeah, I agree.
because
Yeah.
say he got the max votes in the game's 3 votes, right? But if he's not playing in the game, it changes the whole, integrity of the voting.
And that's
So I
why I
feel
think,
like,
for example,
yeah.
if United got that Premier League, or all the teams that finished second in those
You just
years
have to
that
strip
City
it,
finished
surely.
first, I wouldn't
things
like
out
to
in
see
the
the
way.
second
Yeah.
place team win
I was
because
trying to think in that period. Like, we didn't come second in a period like that at all. So I think, I don't think we'd get any Premier League titles from that. Yeah.
But it wouldn't
Came-
feel right. As a player, you put your heart and soul into it, and you know that you weren't
Getting that medal
the
6
actual
years
winner.
later or something.
Yeah.
It
that
would-
would
it
be
would feel
shit as well.
strange.
I
Yeah.
don't think any fan would want that.
No.
Nah.
Imagine Liverpool with Klopp having however many Premier League titles.
I know they missed out on a few too by a couple points.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's insane.
But there's a lot of similarities between like UK sport and Australian sport, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And culture as well.
Yeah.
Like we've noticed just through our travels, like we've only been here for 4 days or something, but there's a lot of similarities in the way people like
Definitely Melbourne vibes just aesthetically a little bit. I think it's the closest.
Little bit,
so
yeah.
far too.
Yeah, Shoreditch is very similar to Melbourne.
Yeah.
I'd say, like East London. But it cracks me up, man, how many Australians are over here.
Yeah.
We've
Like,
heard a
so-
lot about that.
so many,
what's that
bro.
area? Rufus mentioned it to us.
yeah.
Yes, there's an area where they all live, right?
Clapham?
Yeah, Clapham.
Yeah, that's
He
where
reckons-
Liam Dowling lives, I believe,
Okay.
without doxing him.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a big area. So yeah, like Southwest London's Clapham, a lot of young people there. It's like good. It's not my cup of tea personally, because where I went to school, it's a bit of UK knowledge for you. So where I went to school, like the area of the UK that I went to, is a place called Surrey. Yeah, very, very memed in a sense that it's full of posh people, like white girls with a lot of money, all this sort of stuff. Now, in that area, when you leave uni, often a lot of the people from Surrey all go to the same group of universities called the Russell Group unis. So you've got like Exeter, Manchester, Bristol, places like that, the top unis in the UK, because they're all privately educated and they've gone to the same uni. So they all hang around the same people. Then when they leave uni, having known everyone from their Russell Group uni, they'll move to London, and they'll always move to Clapham and Balham, these two like neighbouring areas in southwest London, and therefore you'll then go on nights out and you'll see people that you've known all growing up. Now, I went to Bournemouth Uni, so my uni wasn't as good as those, but from where I'm from, I would probably bump into a lot of people that like I knew from my
school,
area.
Yeah,
and I think if you're moving to a new city, you want to meet new people, and you don't really want to kind of constantly remind yourself of like what was there.
Yeah.
Almost. So I kind of don't understand when people choose to move to an area because they know lots of people there.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you're moving from
That's
abroad.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like, a big part of life is to experience different things, experience new people,
Yeah.
and gain new life experiences rather than like sitting in the same spot with the same people. Well, not
Yeah.
the same spot, but like, moving with them. I don't know.
You diversify like your knowledge of the world as well. Like when I went to Bournemouth Uni, I was around so many different people. Yeah, I was around so many like people that I wouldn't have met if I'd like gone and hung around with the people that were from my area. Because the thing is, I always get joked about on the pod because I went to private school, but I never grew up in a family that could afford private school. So I was very, very lucky that I was given scholarships and bursaries and stuff. So I was able to go to these schools. But therefore, the people that I hung around with at the school were very different to my family in the sense that my mum, single mum, like, I'm very, very fortunate in the privilege that I had around me in my life. Like a lot of the people around me, were well off or whatever. But I never had that sort of real harsh reality of what some people go through because you're not surrounded by those people. You're surrounded by a lot of privileged people. And as you get older, it's important to meet those people that do almost make you understand the world a bit better. Like at Bournemouth Uni, so many of my like uni mates and stuff had lived like crazy lives where you think, how have you even made it to uni? Like, fair fucking play to you. Like, you've had the chips against you. And I think a lot of people just go through their whole life without even, like, clocking onto that. And I think it's an important lesson to learn.
Makes you appreciate things more.
For sure.
Yeah.
My mum was telling me once, actually. She, so my granddad, he died when I was, like, 3. But my granddad was very well off. He lost everything. But, like, before he lost everything, my mum obviously had a very good childhood. And she complained about something once in the house. I think it was maybe like her dinner or something along those lines. Complained, and my granddad went to her, right, get in the car, got her in the car, didn't say anything, and he drove her to this really bad part of London. So where I live, it's not far, it's like an hour drive to London or whatever. Drove her to this really bad part of London and said, like, look around you. Do you realise how lucky you are now? She didn't say anything else. And then from that point on, she says to me she never complained to him about anything like that again. But I think it's that was, for her, it was her lesson of, like, always be grateful for what you have.
Yeah. It's a good lesson. Because
sure.
imagine driving in the car and you don't know what's going on and you think, what the fuck's he going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
And then
but I mean, I don't think it wasn't in a way like he's kidnapping.
No.
But, like, yeah, it's sort of like, right, well, he's gone out of his way to prove this to me, and that when you're an impressionable kid, like those sorts of memories stick with you, don't they?
Definitely.
Yep, definitely.
I'm trying to think if I had any like life lessons like that at a young age. I probably did, but off the top of my head, I don't have
What's
them.
it like in Perth then? Is it kind of like quite rural?
It depends, really. I guess I don't think our CBD is as busy as the other places in Australia. So like Melbourne city centre is very popular. People go there for all sorts of things. I don't think Perth's like that. It's more people go there to work. And I think our suburbs are a little bit more lively.
Right, so Perth actually is like a place that has a lot of sort of industry and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, it's Western Australia in general.
Mining state, really.
So up north is where a lot of the mining gets done, and it provides Australia with a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Now, we have things called FIFO workers, fly in, fly out workers. So they'll work 2 weeks up in the mines and they come down and they get a week off. 2 weeks, 1 week off. And it's just the cycle they do. And they're paid quite well, but they're working 12-hour days for how many days a
2
week?
weeks
For
straight.
14 days or 13.
straight and then 14 come home. So
Yeah.
it's pretty intense.
So it's full on. Dylan and I would probably never do it.
I don't think we'd last, but I'd love to give it a go for like a day.
Yeah, like so when you do this, so I know someone that went out and did this. And
Yeah.
he was like sleeping in a tent and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, is it is it still mining how I would know it back in this country?
I think there's a lot of different jobs when you go up there. So you can go up to the mines. I wouldn't say they're all mining jobs. You can be a cleaner up there. You can do hospitality up there.
Yeah.
And there's also some dirty jobs too.
Yeah, like the entry level is the driller's offsider. So the driller is, you know, they go underground and they're drilling through the mine to find the minerals, and then the offside is sort of cleaning up the rubble all day, right?
Yeah.
And I know a bloke who does that. He shows me the videos, and they're, you know, underground. And he's always like getting sick as well because you know the gases are getting released as well. Yeah. And some people have a good, like, if you work for a good mining company, you're on a nice mine site, so you know there's good food, there's you know a gym, there's things to do. Other people can be out in the middle of nowhere. We also know someone like that, and they are sharing like a little, you know, caravan, 4 or 5 of them. Just working
so when
dogs.
you say that it's up north, so I assume what you're saying is that northern part is fairly uninhabitable.
Yeah.
So people just go there to work.
Yeah, basically.
It's incredibly hot. So Western Australia in general, Perth's the most isolated city in the world.
Yeah.
Major one, yeah.
Yeah. And then you look at the northern part of Western Australia is just hot all the time. So
is that where Uluru is?
Yeah,
but
more
that's
central.
in the middle of Australia.
But still, it's like it's really hot there.
Yeah.
And again, not that many people live in that part of Australia. Like most of Australia's people live along the coast.
Yeah.
You know, and southern as well, like Perth, Adelaide, even Melbourne and Sydney are relatively south on the map.
But 99% of our state would be rural. So like where I live, I'm only 30 minutes from the city, but I have like a fair bit of land. There's kangaroos. Like it's a typical Australian type of...
Perth's just very laid back. Like,
oh, the lifestyle's great if you don't like the hustle and bustle of something. So there's a lot of people who like retiring there.
Yeah.
So you got some older people. But then I think Perth is also getting better as the years go.
They're trying to. Like the cities, there's lots of upgrades happening in our city at the moment, and they're, you know, creating, like Elizabeth Quay's this little harbour in the city that they're really doing up, and there's lots of infrastructure at the moment.
And we're getting a lot more major events. So UFC the other day was in Perth.
Wow.
That's our second one. We had one 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
So what's the timing on that? What time did it have to be?
It would have started... it started at 3 or 4 a.m. here.
So it was...
So about midday in Perth was when it would start.
That's crazy. It's mental how they just line it up for the American
viewership.
Like, did you see when they had it in Manchester?
Yeah, didn't they fight at like a ridiculous time?
Leon Edwards fought like 5:30 in the morning.
That's crazy.
So what the fuck? You're in the UK. It should be on the UK time.
Yeah.
Because that's a really weird time to put them on.
Yeah, but if you were to do it at, like, let's say main card being at 10:30, 11 at night, in what time would that be here?
So Perth 7 hours ahead. So it'd be like 3 o'clock
in the afternoon.
In the afternoon here.
Yeah, I mean, it should just be based on where the
But I guess they base it for the American market.
They do. They only gear it towards the American market.
I'm sure everyone's still having a big night in Manchester though.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Is London the best? Do you think it's the best city in England?
What are you after?
I don't know.
Because for me,
quality of life. Maybe
I've got a love-hate relationship with London.
Give me like a few love and a few hate.
And then some other cities you like.
I love the fact that London has everything to better my career and better my life from a young person's perspective, whether that be the infrastructure, the jobs available, all of that stuff. But the rat race of it is sometimes insufferable. And but what I say by that is, you have so many people. So let's say I'm 27 years old. 90% of my mates are all in London. Okay, yeah. They all have different jobs. They all want to earn different amounts of money. They all work at different amounts. So you've got friends, let's say, who are doctors, working disgusting hours, earning a third of what some mates who are working, let's say, a 30-hour week in a finance job, where they're getting close to 100 grand a year. And then you have people that are working, you know, a lot on very shit money. And then everyone's in together in a melting pot of comparison of like, I should be doing this. I'm comparing myself to that person. And that's the biggest negative for it. And I'm very much at the point now where I don't know how long I can stay in a city like that. I absolutely love London, don't get me wrong. And I would happily raise a family in certain areas of it because I love it.
Yeah.
But it is tiring, bro. It's a tiring place to live.
It seems like that. And that's something that we've heard from a lot of people who live here, is that London can better your career.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot going on. But in the grand scheme of things, you might not be your happiest.
No.
Like,
I think
a lot of
honestly,
depression.
Yeah, like my partner Izzy's family are all from Bournemouth, and that's where I went to uni. And like for me, it's got parts of it that are a bit shit, but she's from an area called Southbourne, which is a kind of bit set back, but still along the beach. It's just like everyone there, like her brother, when I go and see him, he just, goes to his run club on a Sunday, goes gets a coffee, and then they'll just chill, you know, and they'll just
Sounds like Perth.
They'll just have an easy. They'll just have an easy life, and they have such a slow life.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you're in London, you've got a job that's intense. You're constantly on this hamster wheel, and you're like, "Am I doing enough? Am I doing enough to live the life that I feel that I should have, or the life that I compare myself to other people having?" It's such a hard balance to find.
Do you think you want a slow life?
I will definitely. Definitely want a slow life at some point. Like for me, I always joke about it, but I'd love to just like own a cafe on like the beach, or like in like a really quiet part that's really cool. You can make it your own, and then like make content out of it. Like that would be sick. Imagine like I see people who are like, "Oh, I've opened my dream place, and this is what I've done," and they've made a whole career out of like capturing the content side of things. And like for me, obviously, I absolutely adore what I do for a job. I'm so lucky to work in the industry that I do. But it's one of these things that Cal and Chip aren't going to be doing this forever. So it's like after that, what's my next decision? I don't know, but it won't be for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
You should come to Perth one day.
I want to see more of Australia, man.
Yeah.
We obviously didn't come to Perth last time. Me and Izzy are always saying like she's never been, but she's like, I want to move to Australia. I was like, you don't know it. You've never been there.
Yeah.
And I was like, I actually have been there. I would move there, but I always think, why are Australians moving over here though?
I think because we get bored of. It's like the grass is always greener. You want to live in a busier city, or for travel as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, unless you're going to sort of Southeast Asia, everywhere else is just 20 plus hours.
But there's also a lot of Brits that don't like it here and move to Australia.
Sure,
so
exactly.
We're just all crossing over.
I know.
I think it's a little bit like what you were saying with the grass is always greener. People, and look, I think we all get it at times. Like you want to see what else is out there.
Yep.
You want to experience something else, because it can get mundane and boring what you're doing every day.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people want to move, not for the sake of moving, but because they think it's way better in that place. And then they might go there, experience it for a few months and go, I hate this. I want to go home.
It's more on you, really, isn't it?
But you do have to try.
You can make anything good, depending on who you're with and what you're doing.
I also think it's the same about the slow living thing. Like, you can live a slow life, but you can make it faster when 100%. You want to.
Yeah.
So, like, as I said, like, say if you were to start your own business, like a friend of mine literally has opened a cafe around the corner, like next to our office, which is so sick. But even him, he's living in London. He's around like busy people, but he's just running his own cafe.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I see that and go, that's someone that's had a dream. He's had the dream before and it's failed elsewhere. And now he's found the right thing after trying and trying and trying. And that is fast living, because he's constantly trying to take a dream off the ground. But then once it gets to the point of being fast, it becomes slow again, because you can slow it down to your needs, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like that a bit with our job. We're obviously like all trying to, grow the platform as much as we can, particularly like Feathers Loaded now with, building that out as a brand. We're trying to now sort of think, right, what is the next phase of it? When we fully launch, we have launched now, but what is next for that? So there's always loads of things like floating around people's heads and all this sort of stuff. But I have really liked the idea that one day I don't want to raise kids around fast-paced environment, because I grew up in a slow-paced environment. Yeah. So I think it's important to grow up in a slow one.
Well, just on what you were saying about your friend who's opened that business, do you want to quickly plug it?
Running Late Coffee, but might dox the office.
Yes.
But we're moving anyway, so fuck it, doesn't matter. But Running Late Coffee. Yeah, shout out to Tom and Sean, good lads.
And then just on that, I think owning your own thing and being your own boss allows you to dictate what speed you live life at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because if you're stuck in the rat race, as you call it, it can be just draining.
I'm in a bit of an advantage because I work in a creative area. So like
with people you like, I assume.
Yeah, of course, man, of course. I absolutely love everyone here. No, I do. No, that could get me in trouble. Only joking. Digging the hole, so cut. What was I saying?
you're allowed to be creative
because
in your job.
Because I'm around creative people, I feel like everyone's got that common ground of being like, right, we're here because we want to make like cool stuff and, you know, do that sort of fun work. Like, you want work to be fun, and if your work's fun, you enjoy it more. But obviously, work being fun doesn't necessarily mean that it's not like hard work.
True. Yep.
So I think a lot of everyone understands the kind of the give and take when we're all being creatives. But when you're watching from the outside, you don't necessarily think that. I imagine a lot of people look at the work that we do and go, oh, I've got life so easy. But it's just not like that. Everyone works really hard and has a common interest of building something big. And when you all have that common interest of building something big, you then all, as a result, put loads of work into it, and it becomes hard work. So it starts off as something that's fun and, you know, exciting, and it's hard work, exciting, and just like doing something that you love doing almost. Yeah. I feel like I've explained that horrifically, but you know what I mean.
Oh, it made sense.
It's all good if you're with the right people.
Yeah,
that's basically
for
what I'm
sure.
saying.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question, and I want 2 answers. I want, what has been your proudest moment so far working for this company, and then what has been the proudest moment so far outside of work for you?
Well, the outside of work one's easy. It's like when I proposed to my partner,
which is beautiful. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, bro. When I like that, for me was like my moment where I was like, it sounds really wanky, but I was very fortunate. Like, I met Izzy when I was 16, and we've stayed together for like almost 10 years. And I think not a lot of people can say that they've done that relatively pain-free. We've had the odd like week break here and there when you've just had an argument and stuff like that, because that's uni. Just like everyone goes through uni having those struggles. But that for me is like, wow, we've done it. We're here and we're happy. And like that for me was a big proud moment. Also, like my family seeing that as well. Also, like this might be a bit too deep for this, but I literally got to. So my grandma was always really fond of Izzy, and when she was alive, and she passed away. And my last time I visited her, I was going to propose her maybe like a couple weeks later. Yeah. And I told her, I was like, by the way, like I'm gonna marry Izzy. And she just like, bear in mind, didn't talk to me the whole time. She was sleeping in bed, her eyes lit up, and she was like, she basically just like grabbed my hand. And that for me, I was like, that's
how good's that?
I was like, this is crazy, because she didn't even fucking talk
at
that point. And then I was like, that just, I don't know, it just felt so right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like work-related achievement, I think coming to Australia to see you boys was unreal, and that was very early days. I think just improving myself as a manager as well, like obviously managing different people, like it's incredibly important. I think not a lot of people look at management skills as something important to have, but it is so important to have, and like they are the human beings that are going to you for guidance and advice. And I think if you can be a good manager, you can be a good person as well. Yeah. So yeah, it's like trying to learn that, and just sort of continuing trying to level up the podcast. But yeah, I'd say probably coming to Australia was a proud one, because I saw the direct impact of what the pods have, what it can have on people, and obviously going to Ireland will be a similar experience. Actual podcast wise, doing the Aaron Ramsdale one was cool, because I was like, I just moved into my new flat, which I bought with Izzy, and that same day I got the keys, we went and filmed that pod, and I was like, I've just interviewed a Premier League footballer. I've not interviewed, but done a podcast with a Premier League footballer and got the keys to my place, which is pretty sick. Yeah. In the same day.
That's special. That's so cool.
Talking about things you've been doing, you've been on the running grind since we met you.
Yeah,
How did you get into that? Take us through
and just quickly, congratulations. You're looking phenomenal.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I'm definitely, I always have this mad body dysmorphia though, always thinking I can do better. No, it's been good. I actually started when I was in third year of uni. I had like one of these mini little changeover spells. Like, it was like February 2019. And I was on a really shit bit of work experience, and I was just like, I'm bored, I need to do something. And I signed up for a half marathon there. That was my first one I'd done, but then obviously between there, I left uni, COVID, got really fat over COVID. I think in the second lockdown, I was having like 2-3 Chineses a week. But yeah, anyway. And then just picked it back up when I had done all this like gym stuff, but I was like, I don't really enjoy going to the gym that much. So I was just like, I'll pick back the running, and and got Izzy into it, and then just sort of always I know that I can sort of push myself with it and be good at it, so I just keep doing it.
I've been loving the running vlogs too. Like it gives more of like a I guess a personal element to running, and like you look at, I guess, athlete influencers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are just like, fucking do this, fucking do that. I'm so good at this, whatever. If you do this, you'll be like me, you'll look like me, but you're more authentic with how you do it.
I feel like if you're gonna share content like that, you shouldn't try and not be yourself. Like, obviously I try and make my content look good. Like, you're always gonna try and edit it in a way that makes it look cool, but like I'll just try and be somewhat relatable, I guess.
And you've built a community of people that enjoy running.
Yeah. I've made a little broadcast channel, which is sick. It's so funny though. The internet it's just a funny place. Like, I find my hate. The hate that I get goes in real cycles.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so weird. So like 1 month I'll be like getting mad love, and then the next everyone's like, fuck this guy.
Yeah.
I hate the fact that he's got an ego. People think that if I'm talking more, I've got an ego. Yeah. So if I talk loads in an episode, they're like, oh, he's making it about him. It's like, well, no, funnily enough, Chip wasn't there, so I had to do a pod with Cal where I had to speak to him loads. So sorry lads, can't really do much about that. It's a funny one, but yeah.
What are some of the worst hate comments you've received?
Oh, fuck me, I'm gonna read this one too.
Oh, he's got him.
Because I sent it to one of my mates who's like really good at finding people.
Yeah.
And like he can find their like backstory. So I was gonna make a TikTok out of this because I found it hilarious to start because it's such a fucking weird message. But I was also gonna like try and like find this guy to like just out him on social media. Yeah. Just because A, I think it would have banged, and B, like, he deserves to be outed for this. So here we go. It was a TikTok message request.
Okay.
Which is a rare one to get.
I don't delve into those often because it can be fucking scary.
I never really get them on TikTok, to be fair. My community on TikTok's very weird. Like, I posted like a wholesome video like that, being together with Izzy since I was 16, and literally like the first comment was just negative. And I was just like, right, well, this is the audience I have on here. Do you know what I mean? But that's it. Instagram's a lot nicer. Proddy, from the bottom of my heart, I think I will batter the fuck out of you and maintain a full-blown boner. However, you seem like a neaky bloke. I'd love to meet. Go fuck yourself.
See, people...
There's a lot to unpack, isn't
They have
there?
something going on.
That was in depth. He just kept going.
So he says, firstly, he wants to... From the bottom of his heart, so he truly means it, he would batter me. Fine.
Normally people say from the bottom of my heart and then it is something positive.
Yeah. Neaky bloke, does that mean like a flog or something?
Like
Neaky bloke means like you're just like a loser,
Oh,
a bit
okay.
wet.
That's one we can use for Josh Rognetta now.
Yeah, I'm going to use that term.
So if
I
you
like
call
it.
someone a
Neek.
neek, you're essentially saying like, you just got no aura.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's the best
a good-
way to
okay.
describe
Okay.
it. Yeah. But yeah, like them sort of hate comments crack me up. I think the main one that I like that bothers me a bit, I guess bothers me because I don't want to give them airtime.
Yeah.
But it's when people are thinking I'm doing something from a bad place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I honestly don't care what you think because realistically, like, that's fine. The only people that really matter is Cal and Chip in this situation. Like, if they would say to me, oh, you're doing something wrong, like, do it differently, I'd be like, cool, no worries, lads, or whatever. But it's when there's people that are going out of their way to tell you how much they think you're doing a bad job. It's like, there's not many things you get back in this world, like, from this internet stuff. A lot of it is positive feedback in terms of that's the stuff that really makes it tick. If we're getting positive feedback about things, that's what makes you feel better about a situation. That's what makes you feel like you're doing a good job. But when it's like people who are genuinely going out of their way to give you negative feedback, it's very disheartening.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's something we speak about this a lot. I don't understand if you dislike the content. Personally, I just don't interact with it.
no.
So I don't
never.
understand the negative comments on it.
And the more you interact with content, the more the algorithm
You're kind
goes,
of
oh,
helping it in a
wait, you
weird
like
way.
this
I don't know,
person.
it's
So
so
then you're going to
weird.
see that person you dislike more and more.
When we had AB on, have you guys seen AB, the English lad?
No.
I haven't.
So I had him on podcast, and he was talking about like bad TikTok content, how that always does well, and it's almost like he described it as like a car crash. You see a car crash,
Yeah.
you don't want to look away. You are just going to keep looking at it,
Yeah.
and it's like, why would you want to make good content if that's the stuff that's doing well? I mean, I always want to make good content. I've said this to Cal before. Like, I'll always want to do stuff that's giving value to someone. Like, that's if I'm doing something and it's doing badly, but I know it's giving people value, I'd much rather do that than something that just feels disingenuous. Do you know what I mean?
We know what we do affects people in a positive way.
Yeah.
Some people, you know, if you get fucked over in who's punching, whatever.
They
like
ask for it though. So
yeah.
It's all right.
Oh, we'll talk about that in a second because we
yeah.
have some horror stories about some submissions and the way people have handled being on the internet. Actually, fuck it, let's do it right now. So, who's punching something we actually had sent in a very long time ago from someone that listened to the show, right? It wasn't actually our idea.
It wasn't our idea originally.
One of our listeners sent it in and said, this would be cool. We think you'd be good at this, right?
Okay.
So then we trialed it and we put our own spin on what they said, right? So we had the photos. Everyone knows how it works, right? So we did it, and then the first few on TikTok went crazy, went really well. And then people started to get frustrated when we said that they are punching, right? And just, I want to add that it's an entertainment thing, and it always has been. It's always been, we've always taken the piss, and we want to show everyone, you know, we can like have fun with our listeners. Anyway, so sometimes we'll do it, people won't like the reaction, and then they'll email us and say, hey, can you take it down? And we were very good with doing that.
For the first few, we took it down because it's like understandable. Maybe you didn't realize how many people would see it, or, you know, they're getting criticism for the first time in their life or something, even though they did ask for it, right?
Yeah.
So then we were like, okay, we gave them the benefit of the doubt. Let's try and make it a little bit more
professional.
So then we were like, okay, we'll create an email for it. So you send it into the email, we pick you, and then we send you back a consent form, right? So we get both of the people to sign it. Because a lot of the early ones, you know, the bloke would be like, oh, my wife, like, she really hated that video. Can you please take it?
There was actually a marriage that broke down because of it as well.
He was like, my
What?
wife. He was like, So then we have to private the video.
So wait, so you broke up a marriage from who's punching?
No, we didn't break them up.
They
They
were
couldn't
just
handle
on the rocks
what we said.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's more they can't handle what the public say.
Exactly. Sometimes, like,
bit of an
we're
ego
pretty.
killer.
I
Yeah,
think
of
we're pretty
course.
good about it in the fact that we're not trying to offend the people that are involved. We're trying to entertain our audience, right? So we do that, and then we had a few, especially this married couple. So they were freshly married, and they actually sent in photos of them on their wedding day.
Oh no,
You never want to be told anything on your wedding day in a negative way.
that was brave of them.
Yeah, very brave of them. And like, I think the biggest thing that I've found out through doing it is that people who submit these things quite often don't understand how hateful the internet is until it's turned on you.
Yeah.
So Dylan has this quote. He's like, people don't know what they are. So like, people don't know how they're viewed in the world. They have a view of themselves, right?
I kind of get you.
Yeah.
Way,
I kinda get
they
you, yeah.
beg for it. So like we have people who maybe will email 7 times, get picked, and then be like, "Oh, what the hell?" I'm thinking like, but you've like begged for this. It's weird. I don't know why.
I think
for the
with that
judgment.
whole perception thing, I completely get you.
Yeah.
But all I will say is sometimes people have some sort of character online, let's say. So for example, and now this is not me just making it about myself here, but if someone would say to me, he's got such an ego, I know for a fact that I don't have an ego, and my friends know that I don't have an ego, because I've never been someone to like hold myself into that high regard to that level. But like that sort of comment when you know it's not true, and then someone's kind of just Pied Pipering in the comments, essentially, I can see how that'd be frustrating. But when it's just like a normal, like non-creator, let's say, who sent these pictures in, there I can kind of potentially see what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, the reason we brought the consent form in is to say, okay, you two have both agreed to be involved. And then there's also the fact that we have boxes that you tick saying there is a high chance that you will be judged for entertainment purposes. This is for people to laugh at, right? Now, these people go through that stage, and then I think that some of them are just so excited to be featured that any public perception and their like the public's views get thrown out the window, and then once it hits them, then they're in shock. And we've received so many hate comments. We've had videos that have, you know, we might regret posting, and that's just part of the business, right?
Yeah, of course.
And
you want to be authentic, so then
Yeah,
you're going to
exactly,
make those
you have to
mistakes.
be.
Exactly. And when you make those mistakes, it does have an effect.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, you can be rattled, and, like, there's been times where I've struggled to go to bed because I'm like, oh, fuck, that didn't come across well, or that hate comment, it actually does hurt, and all these things. But at the end of the day, it's not that deep.
No.
Yeah.
But I also
The
think...
majority of couples are very good with it. We're talking about the 10%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the ultimate thing is, like, you're lying if you say hate comment doesn't bother you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
it just has to.
Yeah, I
Like-
mean, you're a human being getting told something by someone who you don't know, who's gone out of their way to put energy into a keyboard to say something nasty
And
about
it's
you.
always a 10 followed account,
And
like
they
with
will
no
never have a
profile
picture,
picture.
bro.
Always.
It's obvious, but as you said, that's the kind of like troll culture that we have in the world. And I've never left a hate comment on anyone's videos unless they are being an absolute cunt. And I think that I'm allowed to say that. Actually.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can say whatever you
But
want.
like, unless they're being an absolute prick and they've just like basically outed themselves as like a very nasty person.
Yeah.
I've never called someone out online or anything
Yeah.
like that.
Well, there's no benefit in doing it.
It's net negative, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting one.
Yeah. Well, like, we're pretty lucky. Like, in general, we've learnt how to deal with them. Like, because we've been doing it for so
Just
long.
about saying things the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got to say it in the
I
right
also
tone.
think this is something that I'm really keen on, which I'm so buzzing that I've managed to do on Instagram, which has been great. I've managed to curate, however you say the word. My following on Instagram is so like positive for me. They're engaged with the stuff that I'm doing, and they like, the bettering myself content and posting about fitness.
It's
and
a positive
things.
community.
Exactly. Whereas if you go onto TikTok, I get a lot of people just they follow based off like a viral video,
Yeah.
or they'll follow based off the fact that like I work with YouTubers that they watch, and then I'll do something that represents me as a person because. I can't lie. I have no interest in being known for someone being provocative. I may say the odd stupid thing on the pod, but that's just for me because I'm always been like that with my mates. Like, I'll always say dumb shit in the group chat, like that's a weird take or something like that. That's just the way it is. So I'm not changing myself like that. But yeah, you're putting content out there, and you're like, right, well, this is the content I want to make. When it's not received well, it's just like it's just disheartening, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I think receiving hate comments as well is so unnatural for a human to receive.
Yeah.
Like, normally, go back 100 years, it was all face to face.
Yeah.
Go back 30 years, it was
Yeah,
all face
fight.
to face.
Not as intent.
You
Yeah.
hit them with a boulder or
Yeah.
something.
And like in person, it's never really to that extent, a negative comment.
Yeah.
I wonder what a person who's like born to be a troll would have been like back in the 50s when they like
Yeah, like,
because
Probably
like the
would have had a
human
voice,
instinct,
right?
the human
Yeah.
instinct to hate on something, obviously is amplified by social media,
Yep.
and has probably got more, as I said, like Pied Pipers along
Yeah.
the route with it because of the amplification on social media.
And you get to be a part of the community. Like you
Yeah.
find others who hate the same
but
thing
to
as
have
you
that
online.
personality trait where you're going to go out of your way and provide someone with like a negative thing, that's something that wouldn't have just been developed since the social media age. People will have that in their human instinct.
Yeah.
So like, what are they?
What were the
What
haters
did
like
they
back
do?
then?
I
Yeah.
think it would
Send
probably
email.
be...
Maybe they sent mail.
Like letters.
Yeah, like
hate
letters,
letters.
yeah.
If we're going back hundreds and hundreds of years, I'm thinking they're just like the gossipers of the town.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The shit talkers, they like, oh, did you see so-and-so did that?
Mm.
Like, I reckon they were just the
Yeah.
shit talking gossipers.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's crazy.
Here's a question. We went to the pub with Rufus after we recorded
Yeah,
with him,
yeah.
and we're having a little chat about what is the worst way to die. Right? Now, you've probably had this discussion before. However, we had a few different takes at the table. So I just want you to have a little think. What would be the worst way to die?
I think drowning, but not the actual drowning parts, because apparently when you drown, it's a very like peaceful way to
Yeah.
go. But the moment where you realise I'm fucked here, and
I'm
there's no way
about
of
to
getting
drown.
out.
Like, yeah.
But I think without question, the worst way to die would be getting stuck in a cave.
Yeah.
Like, those
Yeah,
people
the
that go
people
into
that go
those
caving.
caves,
Because
and
then you're
there's like,
starving and...
there's no way,
And
you're
it-
just slowly dying.
yeah.
What you
I
said
reckon,
one...
like burning alive.
Yeah,
would be
getting
the
burnt
worst. I
alive would be
hate
crazy.
Wouldn't be good.
No.
Nah.
That sensation...
But I
some
think
people
it'd
might
be a
like
lot
it.
quicker than
It'd
getting
be quicker
stuck in a
than
cave.
suffocating. I agree with that.
I was thinking like shark attack and stuff, but
Could be quick.
when it happens, right? Let's say a great
couldn't
white
be,
takes
no,
half
yeah.
your body.
Yeah.
you're in so much shock. Sometimes you don't even know what's happened.
You've bled out instantly as well.
Or you look down, you've lost half your body, and you actually can't feel the pain as such.
I think it will be almost painless.
So that's an awesome way to die.
And I think that's quite cool to like if you're gonna die, to be killed by a shark's a pretty sick way to go.
Yeah.
Like you are known as the guy that was killed by a shark.
Like nature took you out, but it's pretty gangster.
But also as well, I do have sympathy in some respect when it's like, you know, you're scuba diving or something, but you are in their territory.
Yep, 100%. Yeah.
I love sharks. I used to have such a fascination.
Yeah. Have you ever swam with them?
No, I would love to cage dive.
Yeah.
I absolutely love to do that.
You could do that in Australia.
Yeah.
We have a lot of sharks.
There's is it the Whitsundays around that? No, it's Great Barrier Reef.
Apparently it's beautiful. I've never been to the Whitsundays, but that
up in
area,
Queensland.
yeah, elite.
What's the most crocky area?
Up north.
Far north Queensland, I'd say.
Northeast.
Yeah.
Yeah, northeast.
Yeah.
So there's a place called Cairns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cairns is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's a tropical, because it's closer to the equator than a lot of the other parts of Australia. So tropical environment, beautiful beaches, palm trees, but they have river crocodiles and they have saltwater crocodiles too.
They've got like longer noses and stuff, haven't they?
Honestly, no idea. Like we actually haven't had much experience.
Except at like the zoo.
This was one.
Wait, you've never seen a wild croc?
I have.
Well, they're not in. I haven't. I've been in the Cairns or like.
What's the most
Northern
fucked animal
Territory
you've seen? Because when we saw no snakes or spiders when we were.
Well, that's the thing. Australia gets a really bad rap for the animals and like how dangerous and scary they are, but you don't actually come into contact with them much
not
at all.
Day to day. Like I've seen a snake or two at his house, but
like
nothing crazy. Spiders,
because I'm a bit more rural, like you'll get a few snakes, but I reckon in my 24 years of living at the house I do, I've probably seen 7 snakes in 24 years.
The scariest thing are the magpies that during it's called swooping season.
Just the little black and white birds.
They come down in Australia and they go at you. It's
really
horrific. It's horrific.
Is that when they try and nick your jewelry and that?
No, they just attack you.
They're trying to like take your eye out.
No, honestly, it's the scariest. It's one of the scariest things ever.
That's the scariest animal in Australia for fact.
That's because you're not going to really come across a crocodile in day-to-day life ever.
No.
In any of the major cities unless you're up north.
Yeah, the Americans have it worse with crocs.
Yeah, I feel like they have way more variety of dangerous animals that they could come into contact with.
I wonder why. Like, what came about for Australia to have the negative...
Bugs, I guess, like our insects.
Like black widows and that.
Yeah, but again...
Yeah, but I don't know if I've ever seen one. Like, we've got... what are the big ones?
Like the huntsman. Again, I've never seen a huntsman spider.
Huntsman spiders are pretty harmless, but they're quite a big...
It's the small ones that are the dangerous ones anyway with spiders.
The redback.
Have you guys ever seen or been on the beach when there's been a shark, like, flag?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you known anyone who's come close to a shark attack?
No. I don't know anyone personally. Obviously, every summer, like, maybe 1 to 3 attacks happen.
But people don't die, though.
Sometimes they do. Like, last year, maybe... Was it 1 or 2?
I think
one girl died last year in, like, our river. So, but it's still, maybe, like, one...
There'd be a couple a year or something. Like, it's not a really, really bad issue. And like you said, you're going into their territory.
Yeah.
On the west coast of Australia, the amount of sharks is incredible. Like, I've got this shark app called Dorsal, right? Fuck, no free promotion. But Dorsal, it shows every single shark sighting on the west coast, or actually on any coast, right? I don't go to the beach too often. I don't live close to the beach. I'm not even really interested in sharks, but I just find it fascinating knowing where they are, right?
Yeah, because they're all tagged ones, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah. Or they might be untagged ones that have just been sighted, and then you can log it on the app, right?
Got you.
So there are hundreds and hundreds at a time. So you're on the app, and you're like, oh, there's a shark at pretty much every beach. But
it's very well monitored. Like, it is safe.
And the chances of them attacking you is probably quite slim.
I'm going to download that app because that sounds so sick.
Yeah, it is sick.
I think there's a few apps like that as well.
Yeah.
But no, the wildlife in Australia is pretty incredible.
It's very, the variety is elite. It's just the danger of it is overblown for sure.
Yeah.
Particularly when you're in the cities. Big cities. Yeah.
And like you said, the scariest and most dangerous things are often the smallest.
Yeah.
So, or they're not necessarily scary, but they are the most dangerous. So you've got a lot of these spiders that are extremely venomous, are like this tall, and they just have like white on their back or like red on their back, and that just means danger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something looks just a bit colourful. It's usually a bit fucked, isn't it?
I remember when I was in I would have been maybe 9 years old, and I was at school, and one of my best friend's mum came to school with her whole arm like inflamed and covered. It was like wrapped in Glad wrap or something like that. And she was bitten by a redback spider. And
That's a black widow, isn't it?
No.
I'm not sure.
No.
Because I always thought the redback and black widow were the same because it's just another name for it. 'Cause it's got redback. I could be wrong.
No, I'm not sure.
I wouldn't know.
No. But yeah, she was bitten by one and was affected for like a month. Like,
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. I've been pretty lucky, especially living in an area where there's lots of animals.
But in Australia, like if you get bitten by anything, you won't die.
No.
Unless you're like in the real middle
Does
of
it
nowhere.
ever
'Cause you
happen?
go to any sort of hospital
Yeah.
or GP and they'll
Oh,
have
jellyfish
venom.
actually. There's
Oh, yeah,
really
jellyfish
dangerous
suck at the
jellyfish.
beach, yeah.
They are the most
Yeah.
pointless creatures. in
Yeah.
the world.
Jellyfish suck at the beach. Blue bottles, yeah.
What do they do? Like, what do they eat and stuff like that?
I don't know, but they are honestly the most fucking pointless thing in the world.
Actually, let's go through the most pointless animals,
Oh.
like ones that just shouldn't, or like don't
Jellyfish
benefit.
are in there. They're
'Cause
in there.
I really hate ants, but apparently they are massive for the world. Like
Really?
they
Ant
do
bites can
things.
hurt in Australia.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
They do things underground. I'm not sure. We'll have to get a scientist to fucking help. But like
Mm.
someone, the ant community underground do a lot for the world. Apparently.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, honestly.
Trying to think of other really pointless things. I mean, as we say, caving. The great thing about it, you don't have to do it.
Yeah. Well,
You
they
don't have
say
to do
that
it,
about
and then people die doing it.
skydiving too.
No, skydiving
I
I can
understand
see
the
because
thrill
it's
of
pretty
it, though.
safe.
Yeah.
Skydiving's safe.
It's like rock climbing. I get the thrill, the like the feeling of achievement when you get to the top.
Yeah.
Caving's just like going down.
Base
There's no
jumping.
view.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Crazy people. I love watching those videos.
Yeah, I
though.
like watching the videos, so I guess that provides me entertainment. But yeah, you're
that
mental.
adrenaline rush must be insane.
Yeah.
I've had a skydiving voucher
Have
for a
you?
birthday
Yeah.
for about 4
You reckon
years.
you'll do it?
I want to do it with someone. Like,
Yeah.
it was a good present. Like, Mum spent a lot of money on
And
it,
if
and
you can buy it for someone, and then
Wait, so is it not got an expiry date?
I just keep extending it, like for no extra cost.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I had it since I was like 19. It's been 5
you
years.
should buy it for Grace. You guys can do it together.
But she doesn't want to do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know.
Would you do
Possibly. I'm open to
it?
it.
Pop some money
I'd be
into
very
it.
scared.
Try and think
but
of some other pointless things.
you can't not do it, right?
Pointless things in life, like, or just pointless
Yeah,
animals?
just like the pointless things
yeah,
in life.
caving, I do
Podcasting.
agree.
yeah, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think paying for parking, I just hate it. So
Oh.
that wasn't a thing anymore.
I mean, that is just insufferable,
It just
isn't
pisses
it?
me
Especially,
That's pointless.
that's one thing that's a little bit different, especially like for people who live in London, is you're always catching the tube or you're on the train, so like you're not having to drive around as much. In Perth, public transport system is average, so like most people have cars and are
Yeah.
driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that Lewis always says, I do not agree with this. He thinks fire alarms are pointless
Fire alarms.
Yeah.
Why's that?
because he said you never hear a fire alarm when there's an actual fire, and when you hear the fire alarm for a fire, probably is going to be too late.
How many has he experienced?
I said, you've never experienced a fire. He's like, yeah, I know. That's why fire alarms are pointless. He
No,
also,
that's
I think
stupid.
he also claimed that crash helmets, for the same logic, are pointless. Because like you only need one when you crash, and when you crash, you're probably not going to survive it, or something like that. He's just a fucking idiot. I was like, you're just literally answering your own question.
Yeah.
Like, the helmet is needed when you crash because you're probably going to survive if you're wearing a helmet.
That is what fire alarms are pointless.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
That's
All right, question.
interesting.
Both of you, you're in long-term relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Are either of you going to pop the question soon?
We can't expose that on the podcast.
No, you can tell me that they're not listening.
How
How long you been with them for?
I've been like 7 years.
7
so-
years.
Yeah. Just over 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Fuck.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Getting on a bit.
getting on a bit. But,
Yeah. In no rush.
No. But
However-
it's definitely in the mind.
Yes.
but yeah, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
I'm definitely set on it in
Yeah.
my mind.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. Nice.
In
Yeah.
my
It's
mind,
good to hear, man.
it'll
It
definitely
is an
happen.
It's an exciting thing to think about because it,
Yeah.
like, I still feel like a kid, but we are growing up.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
old are you guys?
I'm
20
25.
24.
He's 24.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm definitely like a full adult now. I just feel 18.
I think-
I don't know when I'm going to feel
Yeah.
like a proper adult.
I think there was an author or someone that had a quote, and I don't remember exactly, but it was like you always feel like a child even when you're an adult. Like you've always got that inner child.
Do you feel 27?
No.
Or do you feel what you thought 27 would be when you're like 18? That's what I don't understand.
When you're like 15 years old and you think of a 27-year-old, I think of someone.
It seems so old.
I think of someone
they
who
have it
has
all together.
genuinely got kids, like lives in like a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Yes, like not. But the thing is as well, I think uni extends youth a bit. Now, did you guys go to uni?
Well, I'm
at
the moment, because I switched courses. I just do it like part-time.
Got you, yeah.
I just went for a year. I did exercise, sports science.
Okay.
Didn't really enjoy it. Started this.
Nice.
Yeah.
But uni culture in Perth, like you don't live there.
No,
well, we
You just
talked
go to
about
one
that
near
with
your-
Rufus.
Yeah, you
Like,
just go to one near your house. You drive there.
he was talking about university in England and the fact that there's a fair bit of social life.
Yeah.
Like, you can go out with your people from uni, and I suppose you can in Perth, but it's just not the thing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, as you're saying, uni extends your childhood so much.
Yeah.
Like, you still feel like a kid at uni. You just can drink
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make incorrect decisions. Like, that's literally the only difference. But yeah,
High school would have been better if it was a bit more like that.
Yeah.
We loved our time though.
Yeah, high school was good fun.
Yeah.
7 years ago.
That's horrible to think.
You'll probably get close to 10-year anniversary for high school.
This December. Well,
10 years since you graduated, right? Close to?
It'll be next summer.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you got a reunion planned, or you think there will be
No,
one?
I don't really speak to too many people from my college because, like, my college was like one that had people from all over the country.
Okay.
It was boarding, even though I was like a local kid. But most of my mates were like all friends from my area that I kind of knew outside of school,
Right.
or like ones that I met when I was like at young school, and then we just stayed friends.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then obviously, good group of mates from uni as well. So there's a mixture of those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got 2 more questions for you.
Go on,
One
bro.
is, what are some things that we can see while we're here? We've got a few more days left.
Oh, okay, right. How are you guys foodies?
Yeah?
A little bit, yeah.
What's your kind of? Because if I want to make some recommendations to you, I want to know what sort of food you like first.
I'm pretty open, to be
Yeah?
fair. Like,
Yeah.
I would say my favourite cuisine is probably like Thai food in general.
Okay.
I like Italian,
Well, I
but...
actually know a really good Thai in Earl's Court, but
Okay.
now you might shake your head at this, but obviously my partner, she's vegan.
Yep.
There's a vegan Chinese in vegan Thai in Earl's Court. That's lovely, little family run place.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the exact name of it. I can't remember it. But if you type in vegan Thai Earl's Court, we'll find
And anything...
But-
okay.
non-vegan. That's just the Earl's Court shout.
But yeah, give us anything. Anything
So-
that comes to mind.
I believe strongly the best burger in London is at a place called the Plimsoll, which is
Okay.
in Finsbury Park, and it is, I think, an £9 or £11 burger.
Mhm.
Comes on its own. They don't do French fries or anything, but they have loads of small plates.
Yeah.
So you can get like their crispy potatoes as a side. They also do like sides of like sausages, things like that. It's a really nice pub. Great Guinness as well. Yeah, that is the best burger I've had in London.
Okay.
Closely followed by Supernova in Soho.
All right.
I thought it was pretty good. So if you like your smash burgers, go there. Also, I talked about this on the pod. I think, honestly, the best part of London is the food and like alcohol culture and stuff like that.
Mhm.
There's so many great food and drink spots around.
Actually, tomorrow night we're catching up with someone who we haven't seen in a very long time.
Yeah.
Actually, we've never met this person, but we've known this
We've
person
worked
for a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
So she's from Australia and she's actually living over here now.
Yeah.
Where is somewhere that we could catch up with her? Like, is there one of
Do you
your
want
favourite
Dinner
pubs
and-
or
maybe
something
dinner
like
spot.
that?
Dinner drinks type
Maybe
thing?
dinner and drinks?
I reckon go to this place that I said. Well, I do. What part of London?
Is this the Thai place?
No. The Plimsoll is a
Okay,
pub, a
right.
pub in
We're
Finsbury
not sure
Park.
where she lives.
She'll make
But
the
it
trip.
doesn't
But
really
the
matter.
Plimsoll, honestly, it's an unreal pub. It's
Yeah.
very hyped. So you should be alright on a Tuesday evening.
Yeah,
Have you
yeah.
boys been there before? No?
No?
Yeah, it's very hyped. Very fucking hyped.
Yeah. I think Liam might have, because Liam lives in that area.
Yeah,
But
okay.
yeah, so like that's really good. There's also some like great other pubs as well. Like one that I really like is you got the Faltering Fallback if you want like a nice outside drink. That's in that sort of area. I'll tell you what, there's you guys are kind of a different side of London to where Earl's Court is kind of near Stamford Bridge though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So there's trying to think of the pubs that Hollywood Arms is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Been there. Oh, you can go to James Blunt's pub, Fox and Pheasant.
Is it cool?
Yeah, it's really nice, and it's like really old school, really
Okay.
great food apparently as well. I've not eaten there, just drunk there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's supposed to be good. Trying to think about other places that I've been in West London. I rarely venture that side of London. I can't lie.
Okay.
I'll only ever go for a Chelsea game, really. But yeah, things to do. I mean, I personally believe the nicest park in London is a place called Clissold Park.
Okay.
But again, it's just a park, innit? It's just like where you'd walk a
Does
dog.
it have
It's not
good
really-
grass though? Because
Yeah, it does.
we
Really nice
went to
grass.
Hyde Park
Yeah,
yesterday.
it's brown, bro.
Yeah.
It's shit. Hyde Park is shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of other things to do. I'm kind of on the spot, with that.
That's all right. You can send us a message if
If
anything comes to mind.
But yeah, there's lots of good coffee spots, lots of good food spots. Yeah, have you guys ever played paddle?
Yeah,
You played it in Bali, right?
I
I've
actually
never
love
played it.
paddle.
Yeah, I've never played it, but it's
taken
popping
over.
up everywhere now. And they've
Yeah.
just opened paddle courts in
It's
Shoreditch.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do that tomorrow morning?
You could do that as a
That'd be
little
good.
activity.
I love paddle.
Yeah.
It should
I've never
London's a
given it
weird
go.
one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to go and have the classic experience of going for a curry on Brick Lane, you could do that, and that would be great. Or if you wanted to be really touristy, you can also do that. It's just, I don't know. It's kind
There's so
of
much
hard
do.
to.
It's such a massive. It's really
mate,
a big
it's so
city, man.
big.
It
It's
caters to so many
crazy.
different people.
Yeah.
So I guess if you really wanted to, you can find whatever you're after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, last question of the show. We ask all our guests this question. How would you like to be remembered?
So I want to be remembered by being just a nice bloke, yeah, but also doing the content I'm making is making an impact on someone's life, let's say, whether it be through the podcast, getting more insightful people on, whether it be through my own content, inspiring people to make a little change or something like that. Even if it's not a big change, it's a little change. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I want to hopefully eventually be a good dad, I guess.
I
As
like that.
deep as that
Beautiful
sounds,
answer.
That's beautiful.
I just want to, give a life to another person.
I love
Beautiful,
that.
humble answer. Well, a bit different from Rufus. He said he wanted to outdo William Shakespeare. So that was a good
He
one.
said- he said-
Quite honestly, bro, I don't really have too many kind of I want to start this, and this.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like just roll with the punches in life.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Nah, Lee.
Do you know what I
love
mean?
that. I love that. Like you said, nice humble answer.
No, I
we
liked
appreciate
it,
you
yeah.
for giving us the time.
No,
You know?
lads,
Letting us
it's
borrow
a
the
pleasure
studio,
being on
Lee.
this pod.
No.
No,
it's
thank you
great,
so
bro.
much,
Thank
guys.
you.
Really
Yeah.
appreciate
We
it.
had a lot.
Making the
We
time.
had a lot of people asking for you as well.
Really?
So, yeah,
Oh,
there'll be
that's cool.
people.
Yeah, one of our
That's cool too.
one of our friends from Perth is a creator, Druzy, and he
Mm.
met you when he was at
Druzy.
Yeah, no.
he was at a festival. He told us that. He
Oh
met
my
you.
God,
Yeah.
yes.
And he was like, I
At
just met Proddy.
Glastonbury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he was
He
like,
come
such a
up to
great
me and he was
guy.
like, yeah. And I was like, Australian. He was like, yeah. And then I think he mentioned you boys.
yeah,
that-
yeah.
That rings a bell.
Small world, eh?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, that was a
Small world.
Sick.
Yeah.
Nah,
Anyway.
it's sick what you guys are doing also as well. Like, I love Aussies.
We
so they're
appreciate
just the
it.
fucking best.
That's so
It's
cool.
class.
elite.
Thanks, mate.
Oh my God, I need to tell you this because I think your Australian fans will love this. A friend of mine's dad identifies as an Australian.
Identifies as an Australian.
Yes. So he's English.
Yeah.
He's from Kent, but he believes he's an Englishman. He's an Australian born in an Englishman's
And he
body.
genuinely believes.
Genuinely believes it.
How does he act? Does he act Aussie? Or?
No, what he'll do is he'll never support England in sports. He'll only ever support Australia in sports. So if it's the Ashes, obviously his son, my mate, is supporting England, and they'll have a rivalry in the house, and he'll fully back Aussies. If Aussies win, he's in his son's face, all this sort of
That's
stuff.
insane.
I've never heard of this before.
And he'll wear he's never been to Australia as well.
That's so.
He's never been to
absurd.
Australia.
And he just believes he's an Australian.
Fully
through
believes
and through.
fully believes he's Australian. And now I thought that he was playing it on because my mate told our group chat, and he knows that we all found it hilarious. But it's been like this for years. Like he's done this for his whole childhood.
He has to develop the accent or something. He has to lean
No, he
into
puts
it
the
more.
accent on.
I don't know if I rate it or not.
It's
You got to stick with the home team.
I think I
surely.
hate it.
Yeah.
it's
That is
so
ridiculous.
toxic, but it's so funny.
As it
That's
would
a
be.
Like he'll
I know.
bowl around in one of those stereotypical hats when he's doing his barbecues
Yeah.
and stuff.
I've never
Yeah.
even put one of those on.
He's a funny guy, but yeah, mental.
How good's that?
That's
Yeah.
class.
And little one to end on.
That's
I love
elite.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you
lads.
once again. We appreciate you very much. And yeah, we'll see you guys next episode. Cheers.